Right, welcome everyone. This is the Canva workshop on social media. So if that's what you have clicked on, you're in the right place. Just a few things. You are muted. So if you have questions or technology issues, please use the chat. We have staff on hand to assist with that. So please use the chat box that you have access to. And we will get started. So today is the second part of the Canva workshop series. So we had a class last week that sort of introduced Canva as a resource and branding. So if you have not watched that, that is recorded and on the Plano Public Library's YouTube channel. You have access to that. Whether or not you have a YouTube account, you can watch it. But of course, if you have an account, you can subscribe and see all of our other recorded content as soon as it pops up because you'll get notifications. So this is about social media and content planning using Canva. So today in this class, and it should be just about an hour, we're going to explore Canva templates and tools that they have available for making social media graphics and planning your content. We're also going to build a bunch of these graphics just so you can see it in action, see what tools they have available. And then we're also going to show you how you can schedule your content through the Canva app, which is really cool, depending on what you may or may not already be using. So Canva has a wealth of templates available, especially for social media. You can find things for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all sorts. There are a lot. And these templates are sized specifically for the best viewing on each of the platforms. If you have your own social media accounts, you may notice that on LinkedIn, a graphic looks usually a bit wider than taller, but on Instagram, sometimes it's more square or taller than wider. YouTube videos are generally in landscape format, though they are doing shorts that are vertical like TikTok. So you have all these different ratios and whether it's portrait or landscape, and that can be hard to keep track of. Canva has those templates already in place. You don't have to think about it. You're like, oh, I need a Facebook post. Cool. You just click on their Facebook post and they already have them sized what you need them for, which is incredibly helpful, especially when you just don't have the time to think of that. Canva also has a wealth of stock images, videos, and graphics, which we talked a lot about in the last class, and we will look at in this one as well. And this is professional content that, depending on the account that you have with Canva, you have access to. And just to reiterate, we do use a pro team account. That is a paid account. And you can look at the different plans on Canva. You can even start with a free one just to fiddle around. And we talked about that in the last one as well, just sort of what that looks like. But having the access to stock images, videos, and graphics really gives you the opportunity to use content that's already made. You don't have to recreate the wheel all the time. However, you do want to make sure that you have content that you have the right to use. So with a Canva account, you have the right to use the content that Canva provides, which is different than if you just went onto Google, searched for something, downloaded an image from their image file, and used it on your Facebook page. Someone else took that photo, and you might not have the copyright access to actually be using it. And you just want to be aware of that. Now, if you take your own photos and videos, that's even better because that's yours. You made it, and you can use it however you'd like. And if you have a business taking your own photos and video, and guess what? It don't have to be super professional. You don't have to have the highest quality camera in order to get photo and video. To be honest, a lot of phones these days, if you have the right settings chosen, fantastic content every time. And it gives your audience a real look into what your actual business looks like. Sometimes, while stock images and video can be really beautiful and well shot, they're not your actual business. So that's just something you really have to think about of which you want to use at the time. So in terms of building a suite of marketing graphics, that's something we're going to get into today, but some things you want to think about. What platforms are you on? Because that'll help you decide which ones you're going to need to start with, what you want to expand to, anything like that. And who's your audience? Depending on who your audience is, depends on what your content should even look like. If you're a family-friendly business, maybe it's more colorful, more fun, more exciting looking content. If it's more business professionals, you might want something that's a bit more streamlined and clean looking. So you have to think about your audience when you're making these graphics as well as your branding, of course, which we talked in length last time about how important using your own branding is. And you can, of course, use a lot of the same content on different platforms. You don't have to make individual things for each platform. You can repeat. You just want to make sure that it's on the correct template so that it looks the best on that platform. And of course, making a suite of marketing graphics, if you just go in and make a whole bunch at once, makes it super easy to push out new content to your different platforms because you already have it made. And if you have templates set up for yourself, you don't have to recreate them. You can duplicate them, change out the text, change out the image. Makes it super easy. You don't have to think real long and hard about what you want to do. You can create that stuff in one easy go, which is what we'll look at today. These are some examples of what a suite of graphics may look like. As you can tell, there's an obvious theme. Our fake business that we worked with last time is Brouhaha, a local coffee and tea shop. It's made up. It is not a real place as far as I'm aware. But I went through and created some graphics just for us to start with, and we can go from here. But as you can tell, there's a consistency in the color scheme. Lots of browns for coffee and tea. Coffee stains, coffee drinks, coffee beans. There's a lot, the font remains the same across all of these graphics. There's like a special header font, and then there's like a really basic font for everything else. You can just see from the vibe of the photos that were chosen that they're very much in the same vein of this coffee shop and what we're trying to talk about. And so on the screen, you've got from the left to right, we have an Instagram post, a Facebook cover photo, a Facebook post, a Facebook event photo, and a YouTube thumbnail. So these are some of the things we'll look at. You can tell they all have different sizes. Some of them look very similar, but they might be off slightly from each other. And that's just with the templates and how they fit best in the platform that they'll be going on. So you can see how important it is to really be consistent across your social media, because you can tell this is all the same business. Excuse me. And then we will also be talking about scheduling your content through Canva. You can connect your business social media accounts with Canva to easily schedule content. So we will look at that. So now let's go to Canva. So if you were here last time, this may look familiar. I know that we had some new registrants. So this is Canva, just to give you a quick little overview. If you're not sure about what plan you want, there is plans and pricing. There's a whole page about it. You can look at the different ones. The one we're using today is Teams, because we have more than one person who will work inside of Canva to use these tools. So this is the best one for us to use, but there are others to choose from, including education and not-for-profit. So definitely look at those. And this is just the main dashboard where you can see everything. These are a lot of projects that I'm in the works on. And I don't think I actually introduced myself at the beginning. I am Rachel Izagiri. I work for Plano Public Library. I'm part of our outreach and engagement team. And part of what I do is marketing, social media, videos, and outreach for Plano Public Library. So I use a lot of these tools on a daily basis for the work that we do here at the library. So you'll see some stuff that's very Plano Library focused, and then some of the stuff we'll be working on here. So the first thing I want to show you is the templates. So Canva has templates, like I mentioned, for practically any kind of social media. And you can make your own size graphics, of course, but these are already in place based on the recommended ratios from the social media sites. Very handy to have. So on the left-hand side, we're on the home screen right now, but we want to go to templates. I just want to show you where they are, and then we'll work on a project. So they have all sorts of things already here, but on the left-hand side, they have one that's social media. You click the little arrow, and a little drop down of different social media comes up. I can also just click on social media, and it will show me a lot of different ones. And as you can see, they're different sized. They're 4 different platforms, and some of them say what they are: Instagram post, a story, Facebook. So you can see them all here. But if maybe you're just on Facebook, cool, we'll go to a Facebook post template. So these are all going to be sized the same, and templates are for you to play with. You have access to these with an account. And so you'll be like, oh, I like the look of that, but I need to, of course, change the logo or the colors or some of the text. Well, you have access to these. So I would just click on one that I find interesting, and then you can then customize the template. Or if you're not interested in working on it now, you can always click the little star and it'll save it to a favorites for you. That way you can find it later. And then there's a little bit more actions you could do, but you can customize the template. Super easy. You can find other ones that you're like, ooh, that reminder looks cool, or, well, nice. Here's a little coffee cup that I might use for our fake brouhaha coffee shop business. So you can see all the different visuals used, the different fonts, different colors, different vibe for each one. This is a travel agency. It looks like a travel agency. Look at that beautiful view back here. You wouldn't necessarily use these images, these words for, I don't know, a telemarketing business. It wouldn't be the same vibe. Same with managing your social media marketing. This is obviously someone who's working on their laptop, managing their content. So you can tell the importance of your visuals and how each one of them looks different. There's a lot of similar looks, but very different from each other. Like these two right here are basically the exact same thing, but this one's a graphic version of the horn saying that they're hiring, versus an image, an actual photo of someone holding a megaphone. So it really depends on the vibe you're looking for. But that's where all these templates come into play, and they are very handy. Same with Twitter posts. They're a little bit different sized. Instagram stories, those are different size. So templates are your friend if you're not quite sure where to start. Now I'm going to go back to home so that I can go to projects. We talked about projects and folders last time, and keeping things tidy and neat is going to help you find what you're looking for. Because this account is for the library, not just for this class specifically, I made a folder for the fake business. That way I could find everything pretty easily. And I have one that's specifically about social media. And so here are some of those examples that you saw in the PowerPoint and what they might look like. And we're going to go ahead and start with a Facebook post. So just to access it, I can just click on it. Super easy. And it opens it up. And I also have a Canva app on my computer. So not just a browser, but an app on my desktop. And that's why it has done this pop-up. But I want to keep it in the browser because that's probably what most people are going to be seeing. And it looks a little bit different in the app. But just so you know, there is a desktop app, which is nice, and a mobile app you can have on a phone or tablet, which is pretty handy in case you're on the go trying to make Instagram stories and stuff and you want to add your branding. So we have opened up our Facebook post. I know this because I've also kept it labeled Facebook post. If I needed to change that, I can just click in here and change it real quick, which is really handy. So this is the editor. We talked a little bit about this last time. And what we're going to do is I've obviously already made some examples here. This is a coffee and tea shop, and I want people to come in and drink coffee and tea. So I should tell them about coffee and tea. So I know if you've gone to any coffee shop, let alone some of the ones already here in Plano, they'll have seasonal drinks. They all do this. And so I would want to put up a menu of what those are, what's in them, what it looks like. And if I had taken my own photos or video, I could include that in this image. I just used some of the stock images that are available through Canva, which worked well for this instance. So we have the fonts that are in line with our brand. We have our logo on here. And I'm just going to make another one. And what is super great about Canva is not having to recreate if I don't want to. One of the buttons that's right above this graphic is a duplicate page. Because as you can tell, between these two, there are little changes, like the image is different, the color of the text is different, but otherwise, it's at about the same spot for each one. And that's because when you duplicate the page, it just redoes the entire thing. Perfect, because that means everything is in the exact same place. I'm not having to think like, oh, I want to move it around. No, I'm just going to keep it all in the same place. Make it super easy. All I'll need to do is change some of the information. So we had December and January, and now I want February and March, the next 2 months in this list. And let's see, February and March, that's a very cold time still, even here in Texas. And you also have holidays like Valentine's Day. So that's what I went with when I was searching for what could possibly be a coffee beverage at this time. Oh, Spray Mocha. We'll go with that. And so I have these on 2 different text fields, as you can see by this purple border here, and then this purple border here, just because I've got different fonts and I just wanted them spaced specifically for this. But if I needed another text box, that's where these elements off to the left here come into play. I hit text, and I want to make sure that my Brouhaha branding kit is here because that's where my chosen fonts are available. And I can just click on that and it adds a new text box for me. That's if I want one, but I don't really need one in this instance. That's where you find the text is over here on the left-hand toolbar. You have text and you can choose the branding fonts that you already have. They also have examples of other text combinations should you be interested. And then of course, if you're like, oh, I'm not really sure about that font, when you add your text, up here is another toolbar to edit everything. And we'll edit probably the color of this in a minute. But if you're like, oh, I need to change the font, Kent is the name of this particular font. And Canva has loads more available. Even on a free account or a number of fonts available, it's a paid account when there's this crown next to the item. So if you have a pro account, you can use any of the fonts that have nothing next to them as well as the little crown. That's how you would change the type of font, the font name, the font style, I should say, the size, as well as color and any other style options you have here. So I'm going to select that and then delete it. You can always hover over the little buttons to see what they do. There's lots of options, but I'm just going to hit the little trash can. Okay, so I'm going to select all of this text because I need to replace it with whatever ingredients may be in these beverages. And I went to a number of coffee websites to figure out what these could possibly be. I mostly just drink coffee at home, so I don't get special drinks like this. So that would be a raspberry mocha, according to one website I went to. Lots of espresso drinks on there. Obviously, I'm going to have to adjust my spacing here. Probably my spelling, because I could not see that one when I wrote it. Yep. All right, and for our last drink, Earl Grey tea. And if you had this already typed up somewhere, you could always copy and paste it. I did not, so I'm obviously going to have to make some adjustments even to my logo right now, or how I have the space based on the ingredients that I'm writing down. But I like to think if you were going to try a new fancy drink, you want to know what's inside of it so you can make a smart decision based on dietary needs and anything like that. So this one is a chocolate covered strawberry latte. Hopefully I'm not making anyone too thirsty or hungry. I have to think about my spacing here. But Canva makes it easy to really think about your spacing. So early again. I just want an early drink, I guess. All right. And one thing I can even do is just adjust the spacing this way because I'm going to change this photo out. So I'm not going to worry about it just yet. But this is an option here. I can just click and drag. I can also click on it and use the up and down, side to side keys, the arrow keys on my keyboard to adjust its placement. One thing I can also do with spacing, since I have this text box selected, as you can tell with the purple boundary line around it, one of the tools up here, when you hover over it, says spacing. You can see the 3 lines and the up and down arrow. And I'm not going to worry about letter spacing right now. That's the space between letters, but I do want to look at line spacing. And that's just the space between this line of text and this line of text, in between all of them. So I can click and drag and tighten these up a little bit if I want. And we can see what that looks like. It looks a little weird, but that's something you can play with. The spacing of your text can help. And like at this point, I don't really have to worry about my logo now. It's the text has moved over enough. I'm not going to worry about it. But now I want a photo because this is a very wintry New Year photo with the star anise and spices right there. But I need something that's a bit more February and March, a bit more Valentine's or springy. So one of the other tabs here on the left is elements. And so this is where different graphics come into play, photos, video. This is all that stock I was telling you about. It's all here. And so I want, I'm going to go with pink coffee. I'm just going to see what that gives me. And so this is going to show you everything. And I really just want a photo. So I can click on the word photo here, and it's going to show me anything that falls under pink coffee, which could be a lot. And again, you want to make sure that it fits the vibe of your business. Does it make sense? This clock would not make sense for what my business is. It just wouldn't. But this one might. So I can click on this image and it comes over here. And obviously I want the coffee on this side. So I have the image selected again with that purple boundary line, and I can flip it. So I'm going to flip it horizontally. So it's on the other side. And I'm going to delete this photo in the background. And here on the purple boundary line are ways that you can adjust the sizing. So I'm going to drag this down to the edge of my graphic and over to the side. And then I'm going to double click and then click and drag to bring this over. Don't know exactly where I want it yet, so I'm just going to look there and see. It kind of works, kind of not. The text is kind of covering it. It's hard to see. I also want to make this text white because legibility, maybe not. Doesn't necessarily work for that image. So it might be that I need to select a different one. And selecting images can be quite the task, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. You just want to make sure that people can read if you have text and see what you're trying to sell. That's the majority of it. This one might work a little bit better. This is a little bit smaller of a beverage. It's still pink, which is fun. Again, you can double click to adjust it in your graphic. And now all the text fits, which is nice. I'm going to see if white will work again. I think it's pretty visible. And it kind of fits in with the milk that's right here. Here's beverage. I can also, if I want, see if having it up top maybe looks a little bit better. These are all things you can play with. So that's an option. But it was as simple as text and image. And I have a Facebook post. That's it.
Hi, Rachel. We have a
Yes.
question. Can you demonstrate how they would add a photo that they have on their own device?
Yes, that is on my list of things to show. So
Excellent.
if you have a photo that you've taken on your phone, whatever it is, you'll need to get it onto either having the Canva app on your phone. That'd probably be the easiest way to get it on to Canva, because then you can just upload it directly with your phone. You don't have to worry about moving it from one device to another. You can also connect your phone to something like Google Photos so that you could then log into your Google account, things like that. There's different ways to get your media from a device like a phone or a camera to your computer or device that you are using Canva on. But once you do have the image uploaded to your computer, laptop, whatever, on the left-hand toolbar, there is an upload button. So under uploads, you want to click upload file. And when you click that, it's going to go to your files. So you would need to know where you've saved it. And for example, I'm going to look at these Canva graphics that we've made or that I've made before. And I would just select the file I want. I can hit open and it's going to upload it here into Canva. And what's great about that is that even if I go and I'm like, oh, I want to use it for a Instagram post or a Twitter post, whenever you open up those templates, all of your uploads will be in the same place. So you have access to them because they're all in the same account, which is really nice. But yeah, it's just under this uploads button, upload files, and then you would find the file and upload it. which is really handy. Hopefully that answers that question. If you need a little bit more information about getting media from your phone or a camera to your device, that would be a good opportunity for a book a librarian, which is a service we have here at Plano Public Library, where we can assist you with some technology questions like that. Hopefully that answered that question.
That did answer the question. Thank you.
Perfect. So we have our Facebook post. This looks fine to me. I'm not going to think too hard about it. I really just want people to know what beverages we're going to have coming up so that they're like, ooh, a chocolate covered strawberry latte. That sounds delicious. Cool. That's what I want. So we talked about this we're going to talk about this pretty much every time, is how to download what you've made. So I have a graphic here. I want to download it because maybe it's sort of a thing here. So if you are scheduling social media content for your business or even for yourself, you may use Facebook directly to manage how you're posting. Facebook or Meta, the parent company, has a business suite for Instagram and Facebook where you can schedule content. You may use some third party like Hootsuite or Later, or there are other apps and websites you can use to schedule your content. There are many of them, but you will need to have your graphics saved somewhere in order to upload them for your post in those schedulers. So that's why I'm going to show you how to download your graphic. If you're going to use Canva to schedule your content, you do not need to download your graphics because it automatically can connect you to the projects that you're working on. It's all in the same app. So if you are using a different service to manage your social media postings, though, you will need to download it. So in order to do that, there's this share button in the top right corner with the little pointing arrow up. We're going to click on that. And I want to download. So when I hit download, it's going to ask what I want to download. And we talked about this last time. There's different file types. So because I have a photo with text and my logo, and I want this to look nice and crisp and clean, I'm going to do a PNG file. And that is actually what Canva is suggesting for this anyway. So I'm going to use it. There are some other ones here that we'll talk about at different times. Like next week when we talk about video, we'll talk about an MP4. That's a video file. And then in our fourth class, when we talk about printed material, we'll talk about PDFs. So PNG is what I want. And the size is fine for for social media, it is Facebook. So I'm not worried about making this a bigger size or anything. I don't need to worry about a transparent background here because I want that pink background. And then I want to select which graphic I want to download. So I don't need all of them because if this business actually did exist right now, I would have already posted October, November, and December and January's flavors of the month or seasonal drinks. So I only want February and March. So I'm going to select page 3, hit done, and then I'm going to hit download. And so it's going to give you a little progress bar, and it has downloaded. And depending on how you have your computer set up, will depend on where it saves it. Okay, so it saved it in a download folder. So I'm going to need to move that because I want it in my Canva folder with everything else. So you can see one of the other seasonal drinks there. So I'm going to put it here. So now I have that graphic saved. So if I want to go to my Facebook scheduler that I have separate from Canva, I have the file ready to go, easy to access. It is saved. And then close that. So that is a very basic Facebook post. So now I'm going to go back to our other social media options. So this actually opened up in a new window, so I can just close it here, or I can click the home button that was on that page. But I'm back here to this suite that we have. And so I'm going to we'll do an Instagram post. As you can see, yep, it's going to ask again. Thank you. I already have a couple different ones here. And again, we're talking about how to use Canva to create social media content. If you need more information on best use of social media or what you should post on social media, we have taught other classes about that, and we have some other resources we'll talk about at the end of this class in terms of building your business social media. So this is just using Canva to create content, not necessarily about the hows and tips and tricks of social media. So a little bit different. But we have a couple different ones that we've already made here. Toolbar out of my way. Again, in the editor, you can zoom in if you want to get closer to see. But this one is just like a cute little coffee tip, but also talks about product that we have in the business, the fake brouhaha business, and is obviously a cup of coffee. So I try to be on brand as much as possible. If I'm talking about a new bag of coffee beans or tea leaves, there's another Instagram post. Cool, done. So I don't necessarily want to duplicate any of these unless I want to do a series of coffee tips. Maybe that's a thing I want to do every Tuesday, Coffee Tip Tuesday. Up to you how you want to do it. But again, one really cool feature is just duplicate. I love it. It's all here. I have my fonts ready to go. I just want to change out the words, maybe change out the image. I think what would be a good coffee tip? So it's a tip about keeping your coffee and tea warm, but it's also a little promotional in terms of selling product that we have, quote unquote. We don't really have this, doesn't exist. And if I had my own photo, which this would be a great opportunity to upload your own content, would be a picture of the thermos itself. People want to see what it looks like. They want to know, like, what kind of lid does it have? What color is it? That would be the best opportunity to show off the product itself. But I don't have that because it doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is look one up. It's probably going to give me like a Stanley or something, but we'll see. Again, I want to look at photos. And that one looks cozy. A little fall vibe there, but that's all right. And I can even adjust the sizing on this because I want to see the thermos a little bit better. And I can select all of this. So you can see I just click and drag to select all these little text boxes. And one of the things that Canva does has these smart guides. So like I would like this centered on this graphic. So when I get to the center, you have that purple line that shows up across it. That's how I know I'm in the center of this image. And make this a little bit bigger. Remember, you can drag and resize with the corners of the image. And so, boom, coffee tip is done. Duplicated it, changed out the text, changed out the image. Really simple, really easy to do. And you could knock out, like, if you're doing this as a weekly thing, maybe you have a monthly one because you have like different product you want to really hype up that month. You can knock out 12 of these in a few minutes. Done. You don't have to spend an exorbitant amount of time making social media content. It doesn't have to be that much work, which is great, especially in Canva because you can just duplicate, change some words, change the photo. As you can see, there's many other photos I could have chosen in this instance, but I really liked the browns and the greens that were in here, especially depending on the time of year. You might think about that in terms of your photos. But again, this would have been a great opportunity if I had an actual product photo to put right here. And so once we have this, I'm going to want to download it again. Again, I want a PNG because it's a nice combination of a photo and text in particular. So that's what's selected and what is suggested. And I don't know if you remember what size, what pixels the Facebook post was, but they are different than an Instagram post. So you can even see that right here. And I'm going to select page 2 because you can see that page 2. You can also label, you can add titles to your pages if you really want to. I don't really need to in this instance. I can really see it pretty well to know which one I'm selecting. But I should download. Again, the progress bar tells me how much longer it's going to take. Usually with images, not too long. And I have multiple screens here, but you want to save it to your wherever you pull files from. Make sure you do that again and again and again, because having them all in one place is going to be the easiest way to keep track of them. Just like within Canva, like we talked about last time, file management will just make your life so much easier in the long run. So definitely try and keep on top of that. That's really a good way to get started. You don't want to get halfway through the year and be like, oh, where are all my images? Where are my files? I don't remember what I named them. It can get a little chaotic, and that I understand. So we're basically doing a lot of the same things over and over and over again, but with repetition comes experience, and really means you know what you're doing and you know how to do it every time. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm not sure. What was I supposed to do? Which template I should use? How do I change the font? Just do it multiple times and you'll get it. I'm just going to have to do that. I mean, it stops asking. Okay, so this is a Facebook cover photo. And so if you're not quite sure what I mean by that, let me see if I can pull one up real quick. I want to make sure that you know what I'm talking about for this. Sorry, I'm going to log into stuff. I'm going to go to the library's Facebook page. All right, so this is Plano Public Library's Facebook page, and this is sort of what the back end looks like. So it looks a little bit different than if you were just someone coming in and seeing a Facebook page, but this is your cover image. It is the first image right up at the top. And for us, it's library cards and our mobile app where you have easy access to a lot of resources just right from your smartphone. But this is pretty standard for what a library Facebook cover image might look like. For your business or for you personally, that may look a little bit different depending on what it is. But as you can see, this size even looks different from a Facebook post. So that's why the sizing is a little bit different. So I just made a very simple one here, very basic, but again, we've got our logo. We've got the same colors that we've been working with, the same fonts we've been working with. And I put really the important information right up front and center. I want people to know it is a coffee and tea shop and what our address is. This is I don't even know if this is a fake address. I just typed in a random series of words. It wouldn't surprise me if Prestonwood is an actual street here in Plano. We like Prestonwood, Parker, Park, Preston Parkway, all of those, or Plano Parkway. Anyway, so that's a Facebook cover photo. And you could pretty much do anything. So instead of duplicating this one, right underneath that is add a page. I'm going to click add a page. And I want something coffee related. And if I wanted to, I could even tie it to my seasonal drinks. That's something to think about in terms of branding and promotion, is that, oh, I'm just going to use the exact same photo that I used for that one graphic. Makes it even easier. You don't have to think more about it. And I want to use some of the same language that's right here. So I can actually click and drag to select this right here. I'm going to copy it by doing Control C on my keyboard. And then I'm going to click back on here and hit Control V. These are shortcuts to copy and paste. And I can then move it around. I can adjust the sizing a little bit so that it fits well with the image. And then again, when you have it selected and you want it in the center, when you move it, that purple line will show up right across to show that you were in the center from the vertically at the center. If you were looking for a horizontal center, you would move over and another pink line will show up when you were in the direct middle of the image itself. But I want people to be able to see the drinks, so I want to stick them over here. So that is another instance of, it doesn't have to be a lot, but it's nice that this photo matches one of the graphics that we're using and people are like, ooh, what's this pink drink? We can talk about that. They might ask you a question on your Facebook page about it or send you a message about it. So something you could think about. And again, you would just under share, download, and you would select the one you want to download, save it to your files, and you can change it on your Facebook page. I cover photos, you would have to, at least in my experience, you would need to do, you can't schedule that. That's not like scheduling a Facebook post. You would need to save the file and upload it. So that one's a little bit different than scheduling content. But on that, we're going to go look at scheduling content. So I'm going to close this. And so here's the main page again, where all of our projects are. On the left-hand side, under brand, so brand is what we worked in last time, where we built what our logo, our colors, and our fonts would be. Right under that is content planner. And again, it has that little crown next to it, which means it is a paid for option, which is what the plan is that we use. So something for you to think about. So in terms of scheduling your content, when you open the content planner, it's just a calendar. Right now, there's nothing really on it. And you can have different calendars. You can manage your calendar preferences. You can look for specific social media posts or events that you've made. There's all sorts of different, but you can, of course, look forward in time and look at the different calendars. You can think ahead. Definitely think ahead if you're doing social media planning. It's nice to plan ahead, get it out of the way. You don't want to suddenly go a week without posting. Which on that, two important things about social media is consistency and constancy. You should post often enough that people see your content on their timelines. They get notified that you've posted, or you have a new story on Instagram, or you have a new video on YouTube. You should post often enough that people see it. But the other thing is that we've talked about pretty much the rest of this time was that it should look like you, that your branding should match. The images and videos you use or that you take should make sense for your business. So those are two very important things. And here on the social media planner, we can talk about consistency, or constancy, I should say. And it's super easy to use Canva to post on social media. You do have to connect your accounts. Yes, you have to connect your social media accounts. And so you would need access in order to do that. So depending on who handles social media in your business, whether it's you or someone else, you would have to connect that and have the proper account set up. But Canva goes through the steps with you. So you connect your social media account, it asks which ones you want. You'll have to log into that account and then it will connect them because you'll give them permission to talk to each other. Canva cannot just post onto a Facebook page without permission. You have to give it access. In case that was a concern, you do have to allow for it to happen. So, but to schedule a post, it's really easy. When you hover over any of the days, there a plus sign shows up. You can click on it and it's a new post. So I want to look at my projects. I'm going to look under Brouhaha to make sure that I've got the right content I'm looking at. And I want to look at my drinks, those seasonal drinks that I've made. So it's going to automatically show you all of the ones that we've made. I really only want that third one. So first off, over here on the right now it's showing that it's Plano Library because I've connected it to the Plano Public Library's account just to be able to show you. I'm not actually going to post it because it's not going to make any sense to people who see our Facebook page. But it'll show right here what page we're connecting to. So it would say Brouhaha if that were real. And here is the current time and date it has chosen. So we chose the date, but it chose the current time. So I might want to change that. So I want to keep it on the 15th, but I may change the time to 8 a.m. Maybe even earlier than that, just depending on your crowd. You can, again, social media, that's a whole nother ball of wax, but you can look at your analytics on social media to see when your followers are most on the app, and you can make decisions on when to post based on that. So again, Plano Public Library Facebook page, but I only want that third graphic that we made. It might not update the view of this, but I have chosen the correct page. So that third one's the one we want. And here is where we would write something. So our newest flavors. Boom. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to do too much, but it does tell you how many characters you have left available. Good thing about social media is we like to be short and sweet. You don't have to get anywhere near that $5,000 or the 5,000 character mark. And then you can just hit schedule and it will schedule this post with this text for this time and day on this page. That is what this whole platform, this whole bit here is for. You can also be like, you know what, I'm not sure yet. Let me come back to this. Maybe you get interrupted or you want to ask someone to confirm something. You can just save the draft. So it will not post anything. It won't schedule it. It'll just save it and you can come back to it later. So that is an option there. You could also just close it if you are like, nope, I no longer want it. That's fine. You can see an example of one that we've done for the library just because I wanted to make sure of how it worked. But I created this video in Canva, which we'll talk about next week in class, with the caption going to the Plano Public Library's Facebook page on December 20th. So scheduling the content's pretty easy, especially if you want to use what you already have made within Canva. If you are using an external scheduler, again, you'll have to save the file and upload it through that scheduler. Okay. So now that we looked at scheduler, I want to show you some extra resources to learn more. And then I'll tell you about our upcoming classes as well. So if you are looking for more information about social media, we have taught some classes before, but we also have some online resources that you can learn on your own on the go. So LinkedIn Learning is an amazing resource for that, especially for business related classes. You do need a Plano Public Library card to access that. And then we also have Udemy. Udemy? Udemy. I can't remember the pronunciation on that one. And that one's a newer one that we have. And there's social media content on there as well as a 16-hour class on Canva itself. So if you're wanting to learn more on your own, besides the 4 classes that we're doing here with Plano Public Library, Udemy is a great resource for that, as well as Canva has their own educational materials, and YouTube is a great resource on its own, to be honest. I've also taught a Promote Your Business on Social Media class before that is on the Plano Public Library's YouTube channel. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can find this under our business and career playlist that we have. You can find it. And I'm also going to show you how to access all of our events and information. So on our website at planolibrary.org, super easy to get to, we have a calendar. So when you click on calendar, this is what it will pull up. And if you're looking for more business and career or technology, like Canva is technically a technology class, but if you're looking for more business and career programs that the library offers, and just as a reminder, our programs are free, you can click on business and career and it will filter the calendar just by those topics. So if you're wondering about cash flow for your business, we have a program coming up on Friday at 2 p.m. And if I recall, this is a virtual program with Capital One. Yes, talk about cash flow and managing your cash flow. We also have small business mentors that come weekly to Schimmelfinnig Library that you do need an appointment for, but this is, again, a free service, Plano Public Library, to get business mentoring. Roadmap to Business Startup Success is with Dallas Score. We want you to have a successful business, so this is a great workshop to attend. We have a few more coming up, and we'll have even more this spring. Not all the programs are up on the calendar yet. We're working on that actually as we speak. But that is how you can easily figure out what is coming up. Is just go to our calendar on our website and filter it by business and career, and you can see it right there. To get to LinkedIn Learning and Udemy on our website, you would just go to this Research and Learn button. So when you click on Research and Learn, it's going to pull up this page. And this is all of the databases that are available from Plano Public Library. There's a lot of them. If you click on all databases, you will find a plethora. But just for topically speaking, we'll go to business and career. And with a Plano Public Library card, you have access to all of these. There's no additional fee on top of having a card that gets you access to this. Legal forms. This is LinkedIn Learning, what I was talking about. Tens of thousands of topics that you can learn about, including software and just like business topics, design, anything like that. That's LinkedIn Learning. And then we talked about Udemy as well. And there's a quick reference guide in case you want to learn how to use it. But Udemy is the one with the 16-hour Canva class, which is really handy for you to learn more just on your own. So those are 2 really good resources, and that's how you find them on our website. Caitlin, were there any more questions?
Not at this time.
Right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, our next class is in a week. I'm going to go to the technology one just to show you. So last week we talked about basics and branding. Today was social media and content planning. On the 13th at 3 o'clock we're going to talk about videos using Canva, and you're already registered for it. If you came to this one, you're registered for the next 2. There was 1 registration for all 4, so that was great. And then on the 20th, we have print marketing. That's where we'll talk about flyers, posters, and everything like that. So we have 2 more classes coming up. And of course, these are recorded and saved to the Plano Public Library's YouTube channel. So if you wanted to go back over something, or maybe you can't make one of the next ones, you can always catch it on our YouTube channel, usually within the few days after the class actually happens. So that is all we have for today, and I look forward to seeing everyone next week to learn about using Canva for videos.